Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the 157 show. And this has been a heck of a year for us over here in the studio.
Deep in the studio.
Deep in the studio, baby.
That's what my Snapchats always say, deep in the studio.
So, I mean, this is, the final episode of the 2021 season. We close out with a national championship and all that. That's what we're going to touch on in today's video. How that played out for Alabama. Before we even get into it, please make sure you hit the subscribe, the subscribe button, the like button. Drop a comment below. Let us know what you guys thought about the game. It was definitely a nail biter. I think, to me, it was a nail biter.
It was a nail biter to the last 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yes. Yeah.
Or roughly 3.5 minutes. That's when it kind of became a not nail biter. But before we move on, you forgot one thing. What? Make sure to share it with your friends and family.
Okay, so you don't catch me on it. All right, yeah. So I mean, basically, it is what it is. Georgia won. It was such a wonky score, man. Like,
let's start out by congratulating Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Like
sure.
we talked about Georgia and how good they were all year, and we kind of doubted them after the SEC championship, but they came out bald and they did a great job. So congratulations to Georgia and the Georgia fans. I know it's a 41 years is a long time. It's longer than I've been on this earth. So.
Yeah, it was. And I'll be honest with you, this one doesn't hurt as bad to lose than the one to Clemson where we lost like 44-16. I'm just straight up about it. It doesn't hurt to lose simply because I think respect. For me, it's two reasons. One, we all know Georgia's defense is just phenomenal, and they didn't play to their potential in the championship game. We knew that, and. Two, I have a lot of respect for Kirby Smart.
I think
as an Alabama, being our defensive coordinator for so long, I have a lot of respect for him, and it's nice to see him win. And you could see it even with Saban at midfield during the handshake at the end. They chatted for a bit and congratulated each other, and Nick genuinely looked happy for him to win. And so I mean, it doesn't hurt as bad.
I think the reason that it doesn't hurt as bad, and I'm gonna call you on it because I'm guilty here too, and I'm all ears. Maybe the fans are too. But I think another thing is because of the SEC bias.
Yeah,
like you'd rather lose to an SEC team rather than an ACC team.
Yeah, and that's true.
And I'm guilty of that too. That's why I called you.
No, and it's true. I mean, and
I'd much rather see an all SEC championship or a loss to an SEC
and
school.
That's just in all of us in SEC country want to see that, but everywhere else doesn't want to see it.
Yeah,
and. This was the lowest rated national championship, the second lowest, rated national championship, ever, but in playoffs. And make sure I'm at playoff era.
Okay.
So I mean, it was early on. It was kind of a slow. I mean, defenses came to play
because it was 9-6 going into I think like 4 or 5 minutes left in the third quarter. So it was definitely a slow game. So
and all of a sudden, fourth quarter happened, and boom.
Well, yeah. So you may tell you what changed it was that. The 67-yard run. I don't remember if it was Cook or White.
I think it was Cook.
Yeah, when he broke out the 67-yard run, that changed the landscape of the game.
Yep.
So with that, you want to dive in?
Yeah, I mean that right there, that one play was what we needed to stop. That and Coach, he kind of touched on it early on. One of the things that Holly Rowe, which was the sideline reporter, she touched on that, saying that. He wanted to avoid giving up a big play to him because he knows how explosive he is, and that's true. He has elite speed.
If I'm not mistaken, he did declare today.
Yeah, he did declare he's gone
for the NFL.
Yeah, he's gone. But he was more or less the guy that you had to watch out for, I think. And just another thing that really hurt too was. The long, I think it was a 67. No, it wasn't a 67. It was like a 40-yard touchdown pass right there towards the end, for them to take the lead.
Yeah.
That right there.
Almost sealed the deal.
That pretty much almost sealed it. And it was 19-18. And then they scored that touchdown, made it.
The Brock Bowers touchdown.
Yeah.
Made it. Yeah. That's when it became almost out of reach. I think Alabama could still have got in there with 8 points.
Yeah.
But.
It was highly unlikely, first off. Highly unlikely. The way they played early, in the game. Anyway, it was highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But it was still an opportunity for Alabama to win. And even with less, I mean, I'm still a homer here. But even with low time you can't count Alabama out. Even you saw it in the national. In the Iron Bowl game, you can't count them out.
Yeah. They had it with 3.5 minutes left, but when it got down to the 2:40 and the 2:30, I said, all right, if they don't make a big play here, if something doesn't open up, it's over with.
And then when prior, on one of the passes right before the interception to pretty much seal it for Georgia, the Jacory Brooks went out just pretty much just a go route. And it's like he tried to catch it with like one hand. He didn't get good position. The ball was placed perfectly.
Was that the one that was kind of over his shoulder coming in?
And that's where you want the ball, right over the shoulder. And it's like he tried to catch it with one hand. I don't know what he was doing.
Him nor Hall.
Yeah.
Hall had 8 targets with 2 catches.
Right. So. And I'm going to touch on him in just a minute. But you could see the receiving core was a major, downgrade from when Jameis Winston went out with his injury, which, if you guys don't know, it was ACL. But the doctors say he will come back and still have his 4.3 speed, if he chooses to come back, which is highly unlikely. He's a first-round pick already. So he's still going to keep his speed and athleticism. It's not as bad as Mechie, but it's still, it's a good prognosis for him.
Yeah.
But you could tell though, just when Williams went down, every Alabama fan, I go ahead and tell you was, they took a deep breath because.
And since we're touching on the Alabama offense, let's kind of say that the approach to the game was different here. So when they came out versus Cincinnati, you saw them, we talked about them pounding the ball down the throat, just going after it.
Right.
And on this game, I think they knew that they couldn't run the ball from the beginning, and that's why Bryce Young had 57 attempted passes. It was a pass-heavy offense.
Right.
And they knew it. They tried to get B-Rob, as y'all call him, out to the outside and work him into the pass game.
And it worked sometimes.
And it did work, but you couldn't run up the middle, and that kind of just...
And I wish from...
It limited the offense with an already weak receiving core.
I mean, everything was weak, honestly.
Yeah.
But just seeing him get yardage on running outside, I wish we would have called a little more plays with that, even down at the goal line. I know it's kind of hard to run in the goal line, but
that's where everything tightens up.
Right, but I still feel like 2-3 yards when you're on the 3-yard line.
That's almost home.
4 times. I would have ran it 4 times. I mean, even if you get a yard, you're 3 yards out.
You're 25% of the way there.
I mean, you're
33% of the way there.
Your math is wrong. But I mean, you're getting something other than passing the ball in an incompletion and you losing it down. Yeah. That's my complaint with that. I don't think Bill O'Brien called a great game. But credit to Georgia anyway for defending anything and everything that was
and on the
literally thrown at them.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball with Georgia's offense, you saw their approach come out and be a balanced approach.
Yeah, and so that's
Stetson
what they
Bennett,
wanted.
I think he only passed the ball roughly like 27, 28 times. He didn't pass it a lot.
Right.
And he didn't have to because the run game eventually opened up. They worked their way downfield enough and was in field goal range enough to keep themselves competitive.
Right.
And then over time, I think the key to this was how they were able to stop the Alabama offense enough.
Yeah.
And because of that, the Alabama defense wore down.
I think...
And that opened up Georgia's run game, and it just kind of compounded. Yeah. The momentum shifted.
I think, too, going into this game, Alabama was going to try and do what they did in the championship game and wear Georgia out with the number of plays that they ran. And when you get shut down and you can't run the ball and become one-dimensional, it's not gonna work that way. Yeah. You can't do it whenever you're going 3 and out. I don't even remember how many times it was, but going 3 and out like you were. I do want to touch while I'm thinking about this the Jai Hall comment. For him to have his opportunity finally to play after he put out his tweet earlier saying that he was done and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. He did not perform for whatever reason. He did not perform, and I think that's the reason why he hasn't played. And I'm hoping it humbled him where he builds on his talent. Because he can be an elite receiver. I feel like he made some tremendous catches. Even in this game, the couple catches he made, it was good yardage, good catches. And,
but this was your time to step up.
It was. It was your time to step up.
You can talk smack on Twitter all you want or whatever it was, but when it comes down to it, it's about execution.
Yep.
And that leads me to my next point, opposite side of the ball again, Stetson Bennett. We all doubted him. Everybody was doubting him.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And he came out, and I'm not going to say game manager, but he played a good game and did what he had to do to win the game.
First walk-on to start a national championship game.
I mean,
and win one, possibly.
He wasn't flustered by the first half penalties, which were abundant on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
For Alabama and Georgia. He wasn't upset, or it didn't shake him that he had that lost fumble.
I think early on we shook him. Early on we shook him.
But for the length of the game,
he got better. He got better as the game played.
So he kind of evolved as a quarterback in that game, or he showed his true colors.
Right.
And he played that role, that pivotal role that mattered for Georgia. And
he made the throws when they needed it. He made the throws when they needed it, and he made the plays that they had to have in critical moments.
And he didn't make any silly mistakes.
Not early on. Not now. The I don't know if you want to put this on him, but the fumble that I'm going to call it a fumble because it looked like he was throwing, but he lost it. And that's just me. I think it was a fumble.
I think it was a fumble. I think the call on the field was right. And now, had it been called an incomplete pass, I don't think it should have been turned over.
Speaking of that fumble too, what just a heads up play just to go over there and grab the ball in his hand and his feet.
I think that was habit. That was he wasn't making a heads up play.
No. I'm saying, but he was just going over there to grab the ball. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It just by happened.
Him that it just so happened to work out that way.
Yeah.
But that. Just I figured maybe we had luck on our side that night for that, just off of that alone.
Yeah.
But that fumble led to an Alabama touchdown, the only Alabama touchdown. So that they shut us down. I mean,
the offense stalled more than I would have expected.
Listen, this is what I compare it to. The national championship game against Clemson, like I said early on, we moved the ball between the red zones. From the 25 to the 25. Or is it 20? I call it 25 red zone.
I just say 20, but go ahead.
I mean, okay. So in between, the end zone, Jesus, I can't even talk. The red zone, we moved the ball pretty efficiently. But once we got in there, they shut it down. And that hurt. We took the Auburn approach and elected for field goals instead of touchdowns.
It did like an Auburn team out there for a minute. And blowing it too, or losing it, not blowing it.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But
interesting fact, I'm gonna go insert it here. Alabama has officially lost the most national championship games in the college football playoff era.
At least we played it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. At least we played it. Other than that,
I have a key takeaway, but I want to kind of end the video with. So whenever you're kind of done, we'll just
okay. I got one more. I'm going to touch on the defense for Alabama, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Both cornerbacks were out. We were down to the third string outside linebacker. Even then, the pass rush and the linebackers played phenomenal.
Yep.
The pass rush, Will Anderson got home a lot. Dylan Turner. I can't think of Turner's his last name.
Turner.
It's a third string guy that just started playing just mid-season. But he got home a lot. So we played well on the defensive side until the point where we started to get wore out. Because both defenses really and truly played
lights out. Through 70% of the game.
Yeah. And you could see, later on they got tired and all that. But we played well enough on defense to win, I feel like.
Yeah. So
other than that, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy, even with a loss. I'm happy with the way they played and they competed, and this one really and truly could have gone anyway.
Yeah. The final score wasn't an indicator of the game.
No. It was 19-18 with like 3 minutes left in the game. It was close.
Yeah, that's what I said. The final score was not an indicator of the game. So that kind of leads me to my final point, my key takeaway for this entire game.
Let's hear it.
Is people are talking about how good Georgia is, and they're not. They're great. I'm not knocking them at all. But the scary part of this is Alabama, who replaced so many members of their team last year on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
They are injury plagued all year, including the SEC championship and the national championship, playing young guys who got tired, who had to sub in even younger guys with less experience. Right. and they still hung with Georgia.
Right.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And you know that next year they're going to be right back in it.
The fourth youngest team in the nation made it to the national championship game.
Exactly. That's the key. Y'all remember that? Timestamp it.
These next year for sure, but the year after, we are going to probably be just
lights out,
phenomenal.
Shut down. Yeah.
We typically play like mean ball after we lose a championship, Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping we come out with an attitude. Next year our out of conference game is Texas. So we're going to Texas,
Sarkeesian.
By the way. Yes, so we got to show him what's up.
Yeah. We
can't lose to Texas.
Nope.
We actually have a losing record to Texas. Matter of fact, our only win is the national championship game in 2009.
Colt McCoy.
Hey, I can't help you got hurt.
Hey,
Anywho, other than that,
I'm good.
I'm happy with.
Congratulations to Georgia once again.
Yeah, I'm happy with the season. I'm happy with the way we finished and competed. Nobody thought we should have been there anyway. I mean, and really and truly, watching the games, we didn't belong there. For Auburn game, LSU game, Texas A&M game, Florida game, there was multiple games where we could have been eliminated and possibly even been like a 9-3 team. Going into bowl season,
which was the ceiling for Auburn football.
But other than that, I mean, I'm happy with the way the season ended. It was a great season. Congrats to Georgia again for winning their first national championship in 41 years, I believe it is.
Yep.
So
yeah,
and it was nice to see Kirby Smart get one, like I said earlier. But other than that, that's all we got to say.
That's a wrap.
That's it.
That's a wrap for the season.
It is. It's a wrap for the season. Wrap for the show for
year
one 2021 season. Of our coverage of that. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in and subscribing and doing all that extra stuff, and everyone that has watched the videos and all the new people that have subscribed and just tuned in and helped us grow. We thank you guys. Y'all have been awesome, and we're hoping. I've been saying this for weeks now, but we're hoping to bring some new stuff to you guys, especially during the off season.
Yeah, this is our first full off season. So it'll be interesting. We're
gonna throw some ideas around, spitball some stuff, and we'll put some other stuff out where we're not always sitting right here. We'll do some quick, when breaking news happens, we'll put stuff out there for you guys. Hopefully we can get it out and get it done, ASAP. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Roll Tide. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hold on a minute. I'm not done. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, that like button, drop a comment below, and let us know what you guys thought about the game and, how you think everyone played. Once again,
share it with your friends and family, War Eagle.
Share it with your friends and family. Roll Tide. See you guys later.